for this. Let's move now.
Hello, everybody. This is Ishwari J with the Change Agent TV, and thank you for waiting for us to start. Barbara is arrived. Hello, Barbara.
Hello, I do know it. Excuse me.
She is here. I hear her voice. So while we were waiting, I just noticed that people on the chat were very interactive. So I want to welcome you all. Hi, Nancy, Catherine, Sharon, Kundi. Kundi? Oh, that's an interesting name. There's no sound or picture. Okay. Anybody else has a sound or picture issue like Kundi does? Or can you hear us? Let's just have a couple people saying hi on the chat while Barbara is arriving. Here she is.
I am. I'm arriving.
Okay, here you are.
I'm arriving. Here I am.
Okay. So, Barbara, I just ask everybody to make sure they can hear us and they have a. Can you hear me now? Okay. Just making sure people can hear.
Yeah.
Okay. She's got sound and picture. Well, that's awesome. Hi, Ron. Hi, Susan, Miranda. We've got Denise. We got Ante. We got Sharon. Couple Nancy's. So welcome, everybody. Happy holidays. I know it's a very, very full time, and you're making time to be with us in a very special time because Barbara just celebrated her 25th birthday. No, wait. I thought. Was it 25th birthday or what is it, Barbara? Tell us.
87.
87. Oh, I was close. And she's a woman with a big heart, and so she just moved to Colorado, so she was a little bit away of a lot of loved ones. So she put a broadcast just for some of the closest friends, so that we could be together and share beautiful words of appreciation, and it was a wonderful thing. But we're going to have a little bit of a celebratory event because it was your birthday just a few days ago, and we're so grateful that you're still here to share your wisdom. And there's such a congruency for you to share this for so long, with the patience that you have in continuing just this. I just love the consistency of your message, and I think everybody can agree on that. So welcome, Barbara. Everybody can hear you. Let's have you share a little bit of this time and your birthday and what this time represents for you.
You know, it's interesting to be 87 years old and still feel you're at the beginning. And it feels, you know, I have this theory that women, as they get more creative, get newer.
Yes.
You get newer every day. So instead of getting older, you get more creative. And when you get more creative, you create more. And your cells say, well, I think we should keep going. So I feel like at 7 to be at a threshold of my life.
Oh, that's beautiful. I think you're about to crack the code of immortality. Yes, because you are what you think, and you are you have the mastery of being the embodiment of positive attitude, and I think we can all learn from that, because God knows I fall into negativity sometime. And something about what's, maybe you can talk a little bit about that before we go into sharing about the planetary mission, but the appearance, you know, how we can get caught in the appearance. What do you do when you see all this stuff happening in the world and the negativity? Does it never get into you? Like, do you ever fall into a negativity? How do you bring yourself back to being positive?
Well, I think our crisis is a birth. Literally. And I think it's dangerous. It's really dangerous. And we're down in many ways, but also we're breaking through in many ways. Yes. There's innovation, creativity. There are more people turned on with love, more people concerned about the environment, more people willing to cooperate. And I think part of the crises of the climate change, the crises of our Donald Trump victory, the crises of all these terrible, terrible sufferings in Syria, after a while, there's a whole group of people on Earth that are awakening up to becoming co-evolving co-creators. it's almost like a new type. We don't have to be told not to kill. We don't have to be told to care for the environment. We don't have to be told that we should be able to cooperate, because we're naturally empathetic. And this is a very good word, empathy. We feel with. We feel with nature. We feel with animals. We feel with children. We feel with each other. So our empathy actually creates a type of desire to evolve the world into a more loving world. And it sounds idealistic, but here's something to really think about idealistic. Is evolution idealistic? It came from nothing at all. And quarks, electrons, and protons, and all the little early mammals and early humans and early Homo sapiens. Was it idealistic to create more intelligent life for billions of years? Or was it the purpose of evolution? So if we're hitting a crisis, and there are people like ourselves everywhere, mostly not in power, we're not ahead of anything. But yet we are, I would call it an emerging species. I would call it an emerging species. So this is what I'm advocating. Come and have a seat. I have a visitor here to listen to this, but I was talking, this is my friend Rude West, who has just arrived. And Rude, we're talking about the emerging species and how, because we said at 87, I should be getting older, but I'm getting newer. And we're imagining all the characteristics of a new species. And you know, my name for the new species is Homo universalis. Human. So anyway, I put that out there. I don't know what people would think about this, all these people listening in. I should put my glasses on and see their comments. Barbara,
Nancy says, to me, God does not create crises, so neither do I. Take the word out of your vocabulary. Oh, interesting. Somebody doesn't like the word crisis, Nancy. Unless you want more crises. We are simply evolving through whatever we are evolving into. Everything is a process, and why label it a crisis?
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Her name is Nancy.
Nancy?
Nancy, dear Nancy, basically you're right. The crises are the way nature informs us. But it does turn out, if people don't know that, my darling, then the crisis forces them to be innovative or die. Now, the innovative or die is what happened for billions of years. Do you know, Nancy, that there are billions of species extinct before you got here? There were 5 mass extinctions, Nancy, before you got here. So if you don't want to call them a crisis, you could just call them a change. But they were devastating to the creatures involved. The fact that we are facing something that to me, it's a very positive word, because it stimulates innovation, creativity, like climate change. If you didn't notice it, Nancy, you might go on and do nothing about it. Now, the average human being needs some sort of stimulus to change. Now, maybe you, Nancy, are so good that you will always do whatever is needed no matter what. So if you have anything more to say, Nancy, just write a comment. No, more crises. Ugh, we simply evolved. Ugh, do you have anything more to say, Nancy, or is that it for you?
Okay, Ron says it's all perfect. It is perfect. All is perfect. I like that. And I really love what you say, Barbara, because like what you, as a metaphor parallel, if I use the term ouch, it's a crisis. And somebody's going to hear the word, is going to run and find out what's going on. So I hear what you're saying, that the word itself call upon urgent action and brings people together. It has this urgency about it.
And I think...
And dear Barbara, I would like that you explain what are love and freedom for you.
Oh, my gosh.
That's a big one.
Love. Well,
love and freedom.
Love for me is the experience of being with the impulse of evolution and all that's in it, being one with the creative intelligence of the universe and all that it has created. To be an experience, I think, when Jesus said, love ye one another as I have loved you, it's a natural impulse of empathy. It also has a deeper root. My friend Mark Gaffney says the universe is a love story. This is really interesting because if you think particles have been attracted to particles, electrons to electrons, protons to protons, single cells to multi-cells, all the way on up to us with trillions of cells organized uniquely as each one of us. So nature attracts us to create and join to create. And when you get to the scale of humans, we feel it as love. But I think it's been going on as much longer than just the human awareness of it.
Beautiful. So Nancy did respond, I want to view radical earth changes as all is fine.
Nancy, you are a good soul. I can see that.
Wonderful, wonderful. Do you want to tell us a little bit the planetary mission as sort of a formally launched yet? Or what's the stages and what are we what are we moving toward?
The planetary mission is really a
maybe you want to define it first so people may not know.
Planetary mission is a mission of connecting everybody's action that is creative, loving, and good on the internet till we can have an awareness in our planetary nervous system of the emerging world. And right now we have the news of everything that's breaking down, but we don't have the news of everything that's loving, good, and breaking through. And I believe that when we are able to see what each of us is doing and how it fits into the larger planetary awakening, that we will change consciousness on Earth. And in order to do that, we will invite people from everywhere on Earth to give their gift, to state what they are that is good. And we haven't seen a picture of the emerging world ever. It'll be our first planetary baby picture.
Right.
What Nancy says, oh, thank you. I know. Ha ha. Thank you, Nancy.
Oh, she knew that you said she was a good soul. That's probably That's right. So, so how do you use the will of co-creation within the project of the planetary mission?
The wheel.
How is it coming together?
Oh, that's really a good question. The wheel of co-creation is a wheel.
And maybe you want to define it, but of course, for people who don't know.
If you think of all the spirals, Earth, life, animal life, human life, each turn is a spiral. Then you go to our turn on the spiral, and in the midst of it, put a wheel.
Yes.
But it's not a flat wheel. It's actually a turn on the spiral wheel. It fits into it. And at the hub of the wheel, you will find a sacred space.
Okay.
Because every wheel has a hub. And we're calling it the sacred heart of the wheel of evolution. And when you step into that, you are able to resonate with the deeper impulse of creation. And around the wheel are the sectors of all the human functions: health, education, economics, science and technology, government, and so forth. So as you get turned on in the wheel to your own impulse of creativity and love, then you go into the sector of the wheel where you want to create. And when you go in there, you ask, you say to everyone, this is what I want to create. This is what I need. This is what I want to share. So like Ishwari, if you were to walk into the wheel and you're at the heart of the hub of the wheel now, and let's say we're in a sacred space right now, you and I, and everybody who's listening, and you're saying your deepest aspiration to create is, what would you say?
You caught me by surprise. My deepest inspiration is my deepest inspiration, because I have many, of course, but what comes to mind right now is to reinstall a deep, authentic spirituality in the workplace, in worldwide, so that people can go, that there's no separation about our spiritual world and our spiritual growth, which we are all somehow consciously or not involved into, with our work, and it sort of enmeshes like that. That's really my deepest inspiration, and applying myself to help the world in bringing goodness and love, peace and harmony. So yes.
That's so beautiful. You see, how many people do you think there are like you on this earth?
Well, definitely, I would say all the most of the people on that call, and on the earth, quite a few, I hope. And you're right, we always only talk of the negative news, and we forget about all these groups. There's amazing, so many groups are doing so many beautiful things for the world right now. But this is what I'm hearing you saying is the answer. You're bringing all these people together to amplify the effect of positive innovation and fast track the shift on the planet for the greater good, right?
Yeah, exactly. So if you can imagine, just for the moment, everyone on earth who's already emerging in greater love, creativity, goodness, and wanting to connect.
Right. So we have a... Sorry, go ahead.
Just imagine, this is for the planetary mission. Imagine you could wave a magic wand for this moment. We're on internet. And that everybody who feels this way were to be able to be attracted, place their gift where it fits best. And we all could feel that.
Beautiful.
Now that's actually doable, in the sense that we do have the internet. We do have...
We have the technology, yes.
We do have, if I may say, a crisis that can't be resolved by doing more of the same.
Exactly. Yes.
Provides, Nancy, for some newness, I think.
Yes.
Newness is creativity.
Chris has a question. A few people have questions, so I'm going to go from the chronological order. What consciousness and what action should we focus on now? Do you have 3 hours?
Okay, who said that? What's her name or his name?
Chris with a K, K-R-I-S. It's a little bit below because there's a few questions piled up.
What action should we focus on now? Oh, I see. Okay, I see. Singing in the shift songs at the... Oh, yes, I invite people to check out. Okay, let's say here's what I would answer. It's a very deep question.
Yes.
I think every person should focus first on the inner impulse of creative love within them. Whatever it is, however you feel it. And then I would ask that impulse what it wants to create. And then number 3, I would dedicate myself to creating it.
Sounds simple. It's a 3-step situation.
Yes.
Turn within, feel the impulse, and act in alignment with that impulse. I love it. Beautiful.
I have a 4th one. Find others who share their own impulse in such a way they would like to create with you.
And synergize with them, yes.
And then you can synergize in greater love. You can feel total love.
Beautiful. Now, there's another question from Ante, A-N-T-E. Dear Barbara, what is the correlation between wisdom and honesty, positive, 0, or negative?
What is the correlation between wisdom and honesty?
And honesty, positive, 0, or negative?
Positive, 0, or negative. I would say it's a positive correlation.
Okay.
And wisdom would always require honesty. First of all, honesty to yourself about yourself. But it wouldn't have to be honesty which criticizes. It would be honesty which reveals.
Mm-hmm.
So honesty is very important. You know, I try to do it personally when I feel myself being off kilter or out of alignment with my own highest intention, or having done something that I feel is less good that I could do. You have to be careful of an inner critic that will try to criticize you so much that you get paralyzed. You know, it's not good. That's not good. Because the inner critic can actually cause you to be so reactive against yourself that you can't function.
Oh my God. And I've experienced this myself. I've noticed sometime not so long ago that I have an addiction of beating myself up. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah,
it's to self-attack. And that takes away the ability to evolve. I totally see that. There's another question from Maggie, who said that a year ago she was at a winter solstice and she had a vision of the earth splitting into two identical earths. And after that vision, she's asking, is it possible that everyone wants to evolve or not? Or is it going to be like I think that's
a very good question. Very good question. I think not everyone is conscious that they want to evolve. It's probably true internally that everyone does, because all life wants to realize its potential. Like you can be a flower, a bird, a worm, a grasshopper. There's an innate desire for any creature, anything, to realize potential. Certainly every human, but we can get so distressed and hurt that we don't. But I would say, what was the question again? I forgot the question.
So yes, the question was, so she had this vision of the identical planets split in two, and on where all those were not yet finished with dualism, and the other were in the path of transformation, it seems. So she was asking if it's possible that everyone wants to evolve or not.
I think there are types of humans. Teilhard de Chardin had a good description. He said there were two types of humans on Earth. Teilhard was a very great philosopher. And he said one type was Homo progressivus, attracted to the future as an organism progressing toward the unknown. And the other type he called bourgeois, who's trying to keep everything the way it is, or go back. And eventually, Homo progressivus would take dominion because you can't go back. So anybody who doesn't want to evolve actually will not. I mean, the result is that you will not go forward as much as you could. So
right.
This is a very fundamental choice, because the choice will affect your own evolution.
Right, and I also, it made me think of the metaphor of everything in nature grows like a flower. Can't not decide, will I choose to blossom or should I just hold back? Maybe I'll blossom next time. Or the flower will blossom. However, it requires a certain environment for it to blossom. It needs water, it needs soil, and it needs oxygen and sun. And so I think everybody evolves, but within the proper environment. If you're born in a karmic setting where you have to just purge some very negative karma, it's so much that there's no environment for proper evolution, and you'll have to, I guess, come back for the next turn around to evolve.
Yes,
and there is an evolution, but it's evolution of karmic. I think of a karmic situation that's a little bit less conscious than conscious evolution. But I think, do everybody evolve, right?
I think that ultimately every impulse wants to go toward
right.
realizing its potential.
Great. Some other question. No, those are like just, everybody seems really happy. Thank you for your beautiful, the chat is so engaged. I love that. Wisdom comes from, another question. Auntie, was she satisfied with the answer? Why are dishonest person much better self-organized than honest ones? That's an
Why
interesting.
are dishonest people better self-organized?
Yeah.
I haven't noticed that that's true. I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. At least I haven't seen that.
Jillian says, how can anyone say that what is happening in Aleppo, for example, is fine? Surely there. Wait, it's difficult, hard to read what you're asking, Jillian.
Aleppo, yeah.
Is fine. Surely there can be cultural pathologies, just as there are individual pathologies. Could Western civilization be manifesting values that are dysfunctional as far as evolution is concerned?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. I mean, first of all, Aleppo in Syria is a tragedy. And it's a tragedy of the misuse of power at the top. And it is amazing to me the degree of misuse of power at the top of power. Mm-hmm. Aleppo is one example with the Russians and the Syrians and the the Islam people and the ISIS. So you have to say there, it's a tragedy so profound that it's very hard to say where is the single cause of it. It's very, very hard to put. You could put your blame, let's say, on the president of Syria because he started it, but then the Russians and then the ISIS and then all of this. So I feel that there is definitely pathology in the world, and you can see it. It's at the threshold of destroying. And I'll just tell you the most amazing part of the pathology is thermonuclear warheads. If we were to explode 2 or 3 of them in any type of encounter, it could cause nuclear winter and actually suffocate the earth. Nothing would grow and people would die. All right. Even in the United States, the president of the United States cannot agree to no first use. There's something. Can you agree never to use it first? They won't agree because they're using it as a threat. And his military, Obama's military, basically says you can't agree to no first use. And then, of course, the Russians are over there. But there's no fight between these two people whatsoever. Mm-hmm. These thermonuclear, I think we have 12,000 of them. Mm-hmm. And they want, and Trump comes in and says, let's get more. Okay, so what are we dealing with here? This is not just bad policy. This is species-wide insanity. And we've seen it before in different types of cultures where the fear and the power structure gets so involved in its own power that it can destroy the world. And it has done it in smaller scales in the past, but now we have a meta scale of problem and also a meta scale of potential. And I happen to have my brother-in-law is Daniel Ellsberg, who released the Pentagon Papers and was up for 123 years in prison. But because of Nixon and the Watergate, he was exonerated, and Nixon resigned and the war in Vietnam stopped. But he dared, he said, all these draft dodgers at the time of the Vietnam War, Dan said, would I go to prison in order to stop this war? And he decided he would. And he therefore released these Pentagon Papers that caused a tremendous amount of insight as to the decision-making process. And I said, Dan, how is it? How many people who knew this told the truth, who were in power? I don't mean just draft dodgers, but people like Dan, who was at Rand, and he could handle all this power because he was working for McNamara. And the fact was, nobody. He said, somebody said culture trumps conscience. That if you're in a certain culture, as they were around the war in Vietnam and the power structure and the military and the lies that were going on, if you were in that power structure, you would be willing to kill hundreds of thousands and not tell the truth. And tell the truth. And he was, the only one at that level of power. And you know, McNamara would never shake his hand again. He broke the code of the code of those in power. So the question I've always asked is those of us who are not in power, and those of us who have the power of empathy, love, and creativity, and we're at the time, if I dare so say, Nancy, at a time of crisis on the planet, good crisis, because it's activating us. I think the purpose of the planetary mission is to connect all of those who are gentle, wise, and loving, and to make of us a consciousness field on Earth. It's a consciousness, all consciousness is doing this.
Yeah, there's a quote that says that you can't fight darkness, you can only put more light, and darkness will disappear. And so I want to tell everybody that we're going to just leave it to the last two questions, because then we'll wrap up, and Barbara will share the evolutionary church in a moment. So we're just going to pick up the last two questions. One is from Miranda and one is from Organ M. So the question from Miranda was, what's your take on the power abuses, the power that is being abused and increased, and what's your take on the new world order? And then I'll tell you, or yes. And then the question from Organ is, how do we accomplish our mission to co-create the new world? So two different questions, and we'll leave those two questions. Let's start with Miranda's question about the new world order, that she was asking, what's your take on the power abuse and the new world order?
There is really no new world order currently in power, so I don't want to answer that. I'd like to talk about the evolutionary church. Because
yes, and the other one, the last question was also, how can we create what the concrete step of actions to accomplish our mission to co-create the new world?
Well, I think I'm hopeful that the planetary mission will give everybody a chance to state what they want to create until we create a co-creative field of awareness of who we truly are as a species. And that's what I think is the best thing we can do quickly, because we don't have hundreds of years to make this change. And that's why I do say it's like a birth. The baby is doing pretty well in the womb, and then it goes through that final 9 months, and it has to come out. And if it doesn't breathe very quickly, it dies. So if we don't coordinate ourselves and breathe together quickly while the climate change and the other problems are accelerating, I think our species could be really defeated. I mean, we lose everything. And that's why I say, Nancy, the activation of a crisis of this kind might be what nature gives us in order to evolve. That's what I think.
Okay.
Most people don't take major steps forward unless they are stimulated or have some sort of crisis.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you. And that was a question from Morgan. That I got the right name now. Thanks for helping Nancy with the name. So I would like you, Barbara, to tell us a little bit more about the evolutionary church that you are offering on Saturday morning. Every Saturdays, right?
Every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 Pacific, free on internet. And you have, I think, somewhere to click on if you would like to listen into it. We'll have the next one on this Saturday. And basically, it's a church that is guided by the new story of evolution, from the origin of creation all the way through for the billions of years to higher love, higher consciousness, higher freedom. And so we are coming together within the great story of the universe as co-creators of the next stage of evolution. It's exactly what we're talking about here. And we have an initiative which we call the politics of evolutionary love. It's going out into the world with love, using that wheel of co-creation as a vehicle for everyone who wants to create to join together to create. And we're also talking about how to overcome loneliness, how to deal with deep problems through communion, through union, through activating that outrageous impulse of love inside yourself. And we're a church of evolutionary love, actually.
Nice, beautiful.
Very excited about it. And we're going to be having a sacred retreat on January 7th, where people come in the morning and then they spend the whole day with us. And it really has to do with how to embody your deepest love.
But see, it's a virtual retreat, right? It's online.
Retreat. It's a virtual retreat online. And can you give people how to get in touch with it?
Yes, like I just put the Evolutionary Church link on the chat. So everybody, you can either copy and paste it somewhere if you don't want to click and register right away, or just register right away. You can click on that link.
Oh, that's wonderful.
If somebody can see the link for any reason, let me just say it. It's http:// which is B as in boy, I as in India, T as in Tom, .ly, L as in Laura, Y, / Evolutionary Church. And evolutionary start with the E, a capital E, and church with a capital C. And the capital R, it's case sensitive. So you all have it on the chat box. You can register for the next Saturday and all the other. And then find out more about the retreat as well. So this is we jumped into the session without doing a formal centering. I would see that we could close this broadcast with a centering, with a blessing for everybody, because it's a blessed season anyway. Would you like to take us to a little blessing to close today?
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Let's all place our attention at the very center of our heart. And let's breathe in the billions and billions of years of creativity that brought us here together tonight. And feel that impulse in your heart as the impulse of creation. As God's impulse, divine impulse, Spirit's impulse to offer you greater love, greater awareness. And feel that impulse of love now joining with Ishwari here. So I join with you, Ishwari, in this moment, opening our hearts together. And with everybody on this chat. This is the planet awakening as us. We are the planet awakening. In our hearts, in our love, is the planet awakening. And now let all of that impulse in each of us join in a field, a sacred field. Placing our energy and our love together in this communion of pioneering souls. And Ishwari, I ask you to say a word of blessing for all of us.
Thank you, Barbara. As I breathe into my heart and allow myself to be fully present to what's available in the moment, I'm experiencing that everything dissolves into a place of deep connection with all of you on the call, connection with you, Barbara, connection to myself and my higher self. And in that place, there's a safety, it's almost like we are in that connection, unstoppable. This love, this connection is a power that can move mountains. And so I invite everybody to center themselves every day, to know that place within is immovable, powerful, and to connect with one another from that place. I see the blessings of our synergy, our goodness, bearing fruit into making a beautiful year 2017, helping each other in continuing to apply ourselves, in doing the best we can with our skill set. And I'm sharing my love and gratitude for this new year with prosperity and a lot of compassion for the things and the people that are not going our way, as we can't really solve anything when we are in judgment and critics. And we are is part of the problem. And I invite us, all of us on the call and beyond, to be part of the solution by bringing more beauty and more love into this world. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Ishwari, for the wonderful work you do. And thank you, everybody on this line.
Thanks, everyone. Everybody got the link for the Evolutionary Church. So we'll see Barbara. You'll be with Barbara on Saturday at 9 a.m., I believe, on Saturdays.
9 a.m. Pacific.
And Sharon, amen. Thank you. And Nancy, she declares that we are now awakened. And here we are. Thank you, everybody. Mary, thank you. Thank you. And thank you for everyone for being here today. We will have ongoing broadcasts, maybe every other month or something like that, so that we keep hearing about the updates of the planetary mission. So we'll see us again. Otherwise, we'll be seeing you in the Evolutionary Church. And now we're going to say goodbye.
Thank you so much, Ishwari. And thank you, everybody. It was a pleasure to be with you. Bye-bye.
Bye now, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.